follow me this morning for my first job, couple hour job, just takes a while and it all starts here. What we're doing is we're pumping water today. So we're going to film it all, but I've got to go down to the river. I know my foot valve is too low and I'm sucking up too much dirt, so I've got to set that height. Then I've got to fill the old transfer pump up with the 2-stroke. Then we're going to have to get the valves right and direct the water to the first tank. And when that's 2/3 full, then I can start the other transfer pump and I can send it up to here. But yeah, it's quite simple process, but the river's on a bit of an incline, which is a bit hard, and the distance between it all is hard. So we really need a side-by-side, a little AV to help us get around to do this. But yeah, so starts here. I've got my radio. Lisa's got her radio. I'm at the pump. Lisa's at the first water tank. She tells me what the flow's happening. When the flow drops off, I've got a bleed valve. I'll explain that when I get to the pump. I bleed it and the pressure builds up and we just let that go. And then yeah, 2/3, then we send it up the road. But here we go, let's go pump some water now. At this stage, we're pumping water every 2 weeks, Lise?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we pump today, next week off, and then following weekend, we pump again. And for the two of us, that's not that bad. But again, this is our secondary plan. We really got to get the spring going.
After winter.
After winter, yeah. As we pass BlackButt tank, I just make sure that the valve assembly is in the right idea. Because from time to time I may have sent some water down in the orchard or something, so I just make sure that the upper tank is connected and closed, orchard closed, and I actually need to have BlackButt, which is this one, open. So when the water comes from there, can't go that way, can't go that way, has to come into the inlet, which is the hose up here. And then, as I said, when we get to 66%, I'll start this little guy up. And I'll go through that later, but I open up here and I bleed it and then I send it up the road. So once the valve configuration is in the right orientation and I know that my water is going to come up and in, now I'm ready to go and start the other transfer pump. Next step, follow me. We ran around on Facebook, buy, swap and sell. We're wearing Launceston once a week, and we're just buying some second-hand cheap ladders. And it just means that they're always here for me, because the workshop's a fair way away. And why make your life hard when you can make it easy? So we've got a ladder in every tank. And I just have a quick look in here.
Yeah, take it.
Oh, it's too dark. You probably won't be able to see it.
Okay,
yeah.
sweet.
Right, so we're going to need 3,000 litres into here.
Okay. Well, you can keep it open. I can't lift it out, remember? Yeah. Thanks, darling.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Next
buy,
step.
swap, sell ladders. They've worked well for us, haven't they?
It just says, yeah. Again, I don't want to sound lazy, but when you're carrying the 2-stroke in one hand and a funnel under your arm, and you've got your ladder on your shoulder, and when it's a big ladder, you know, so you've got 20 kilos here and you've got 30 awkward kilos here, it's just not worth the hard work.
On acreage, it's hard.
So
Yeah.
$20 ladders, you know, leave them here, it's easier. Filling up my water, and this is the worst part of acreage. There's a tree I've chopped down. So as I'm trying to concentrate on doing this job, I'm walking past this job and I'm thinking about when am I going to get a chance to get back to doing this. I need a horse set of blinkers so that I can't see what's going on the block. This is the next step of the process. And I'm not standing here just because this video got 110,000 views and I'm trying to replicate it. I'm not standing here for that reason. Wink, 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 like, subscribe. Yeah, but here is the depressurizing valve. We put in the bleed valve, and everybody mentioned the anti-check valve, the one-way valve, the restrictions, the anti-cavitation and all that. We got it, thank you, and we heard it all. But we're actually not using this now. So because the original line was a lot longer and a lot higher, the pump restricted it, sorry, the hose restricted, but it's not doing that now. But let's just see how much air is in this line. Come here, Lisa, and hopefully we'll hear some air. So none of our pumps are running at the moment. There's just water in all the low spots, and air in the high spots, I imagine. Let's see what happens. Hear that? Obviously. So there's no water in that line at the moment, but that's just a build-up of back pressure. Don't correct me. I don't know if it's back pressure. That's air in the line. All right, but now we're going to go to the creek, set up the foot valve, and when we do our starts now, we leave that shut, don't we?
Yes.
Because we've only half the distance.
Yeah.
And because we're pumping into an open, because we've got the 2-inch poly tube here, and we're pumping into an open tank, and there's no restrictions, we hope the air just pushes itself all the way into the tank now.
And that's only halfway now.
And that's only halfway now, I do have to bleed it at the river, and that's why this is a 2-person job. Lisa will walk back to the tank, and she watches the flows coming into the tank. And when it drops off, we know we've got an air build up, so I crack my, I bleed it, and then pressure builds back up, and we run for about 2 minutes, which I know I've got some air leaks somewhere, and I'm not dealing with that today, but every 2 minutes I bleed it. When I get the radio call, I bleed it, and that's how we fill that one. Next step. Not a bad place to film, is it? Sometimes when we make videos, YouTube says, is this artificially intelligence or computer generated? No, it's not. This is nature that's best, isn't it? But this is where we come to get our water. And it's a shame, because every time I come here, I marvel in the beauty of it, but then I turn on a 2-stroke pump and I'm on the radio and I really don't get to enjoy it. So, but it is lovely down here. In there is my check valve or foot valve, and you can see it's probably too close to the ground. So I'm just going to put a couple of rocks under that today and sit it off the ground a little bit to hope to alleviate all the dirt getting sucked in. All right, so I'm going to just lift up the foot valve, then put petrol in the tank, then prime it with my water container there, so it'll be primed, it'll be full. Then I open up this valve here on the 2-inch, and that sends it up the road. All right, and this is how I bleed it down here. So I just open this, so when I'm pumping up the road, I shut this and I open up the main one, so the flow goes up, and when the pressure's dropping off, I just give it a bleed. And what happens is it hits this rock at the start, and I know when the flow of water goes over the rock, I'm back to full pressure, so I shut this off and then I send it back up that way. But that's just my system, how I get it working. Questions, Lisa?
No.
Okay.
So now that's primed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Petrol's done, water's done.
Yep, foot valve's been lifted up where it needs to be a bit better.
Beautiful.
I'm just going to top this up a bit.
While you're,
We'll have to add this to another.
yeah, while you're fresh.
This is a part of the job, eh?
Mm.
starting the pump up now. The ignition switch, electrical switch, that needs to be on. So you make sure she's on. Bang. I've primed up the housing full of water, so I won't run dry, although it does at the start. You've got to open your fuel tank tap here, which is open. Mine's always open, and then you've got to give it full choke, and no throttle. Bit of beans. Oh shit. Not to do that. Now I prime it down here.
Oh, that looks good.
Once it's primed, it goes over the rock. Just charging the system here slowly. Pump's running now, it's set up, and we're rapidly filling up this one.
Yes.
So this is just like a storage vessel. So now we quickly get this one open and going.
Yep.
So now I'll start this one up.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll drive up.
All right. So,
Yep.
again, very similar to the other one. I quickly top this up with fuel. So on this side, I've got a on-off switch the same. Off, turn that electric switch on. Then how I bleed this one, it's quite good because there's no suction as such. Once I open up this valve here, it'll send water into the pump inlet for me. Crack this one here. That's up to about here now, so I've got all the pressure going into the pump here. Then when I open this, I just let the air bleed through. Alright. Then I start this guy up. Same. Come round here, fuel tanks on, chokes on. Fuel tanks on, chokes on. clean. I'm going to send it up the road. Now I've shut that valve off. It can only go through this outlet up here.
So now I drive up?
Yep. And you make sure that it's going into the
Upper field.
take for me.
Alright, done.
Just let me know on the radio where we're at.
Sounds good. See you soon.
And yell at me because I'm annoyed. Right?
This is good. Can hear the water flowing really good. This is the upper field. Everything is working so good here. This morning I'm going back up. Beautiful. Hubby, hubby, hubby. Water flow awesome. Water flow awesome.
Good.
Thanks for watching. That was the process of us pumping the water. We do that every fortnight. That took us about 3.5 hours today. It takes so long because the pump can only display so much water at a time. So I run the pumps on full beans, full maximum. But yeah, through the inch pipe, over the distance it's got to go, into the storage and then up the road, 3.5 hours. That's it. I wish it was quicker, but I have to spend a lot more money on pumps. And I don't like sitting around doing nothing, but I've got to be around the pumps to listen to make sure that the pumps aren't cavitating, there's no air in them, and to make sure the housings aren't getting too hot. Today we had no problems doing them, and it was nice and easy, but that's it. That's us getting our water. Like, subscribe. See you soon, guys. Cheers.